In the last lecture, we were discussing about this Newton's second law of motion, right?
Yes, sir.
So see here, statement of the Newton's second law of motion. It states that the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the external applied force and takes place in the direction in which the force acts. Okay, so for that we will take into consideration this example. Here one body is there, its mass is capital M and initial velocity possessed by the body is u. Okay, external force we have applied on the body, because of which after time t the mass will remain same but the velocity gets changed because the body will undergo the acceleration. Okay, so initial momentum of the body is mu, final momentum of the body is mv. Rate of change of momentum will be change in momentum, that is final minus initial divided by t, so that is coming out to be ma. According to the Newton's second law, we know that F is directly proportional to the rate of change of momentum. So F is equals to kma. Now the value of the k, it depends on the system of unit we are using, and it has been designed in such a manner that if we are using the SI system, then the value of k is coming out to be 1. So F is equals to ma. So that we have discussed, I think. So now we will see the statement of the Newton's third law of motion. It states that to every action there is equal and opposite reaction. Okay, so this, everybody knows this law. To every action that there is equal and opposite reaction. So force of action and reaction always occurs in pairs. Okay, that means they will always occurs in pairs. So here the F21 is the force applied on the second body by the first body, and F12 is the force applied on the first body by the second body. Now you can see the, according to this law, the magnitude of the forces will be equal, but they are exactly in an opposite direction. So we will get what F21 bar is equal to minus of F12 bar. So this is the general idea about the all the three laws of the Newton's three laws of the motion. Now we will discuss in detail. Okay, so let us start with the force. फोर्स के साथ हम चालू करेंगे, एक मिनट.
सर
हाँ सॉरी
सर मैम ने बोला था कि इसमें हम न्यूमेरिकल सॉल्व करेंगे.
न्यूमेरिकल सॉल्व होंगे, एक थोड़ा सा थ्योरी पार्ट लेंगे, बाद में करेंगे हम न्यूमेरिकल्स लेंगे ना एट द लास्ट.
सर वो डाउट सॉल्विंग वाला सेशन बाद में होगा क्या?
डाउट्स का वो जो आपने ग्रुप पे डाले वही न्यूमेरिकल्स है ना आपके?
यस सर.
हाँ, I will take those doubts, don't worry about that. Okay, so units of force, या पहले वो डाउट लेंगे. एनसीईआरटी का आज नहीं करेंगे सॉल्व, जो बाकी के जो है आपके न्यूमेरिकल्स उसमें वो आज सॉल्व कर देंगे. ठीक है, एनसीईआरटी वी विल टेक इट ऑन अ थर्सडे. क्लियर? हेलो?
ओके सर.
हाँ, so units of force. So force, there are two, actually the units of force has been divided into two parts, absolute unit and gravitational unit. So absolute unit, there will be two types. Newton, you know, the force, the SI unit of force is what? Newton, and then CGS is dyne. Now the basic relation between Newton and dyne, you know, 1 Newton is equals to 10 raised to 5 dyne. Now similarly, if you see the gravitational unit of the force, it will be what? 1 kg force will be equals to 9.8 Newton in SI system. Okay, if you consider, and 1 gram force is equals to 980 dyne in CGS. Now if we see, we have seen the statement of all the three laws. If I ask you the question, explain why Newton's second law of motion is called as the real law of motion. Newton's second law of motion is called as the real law of motion. Why? Because the first and second law, it is already contained in the second law. First and the third law, it is already contained in the second law. So first law contained in the second law, we will prove this, that the Newton's second law contains first law. Now according to the Newton's second law of motion, F is equals to ma, mass into acceleration. If no external force is applied on the body, then the above equation becomes what? Zero, right? If no external force is applied, then F की जगह पे क्या आएगा? Zero आएगा. Now 0 is equals to ma. What does it indicate? This indicates that now mass cannot be equals to 0. This indicates that the acceleration is 0. Thus, there will not be the acceleration of the body if the external force acting on the body is 0. Okay. There will not be the acceleration of the body if the external force acting on the body is 0. What do you mean by that? This means the Newton's first law of motions, the statement that if the body is at rest, it will continue to remain at rest, and if the body is in the uniform motion, it will continue to remain in the uniform motion until and unless it is acted upon by an external unbalanced force. ठीक है, आपको ये समझ में आ गया? सेकेंड लॉ से हमने क्या किया? फर्स्ट लॉ, we have proved that in the second law the first law is already contained in that. Everybody, any doubt? Any doubt by anybody?
Sir, could you please repeat?
Sorry,
Could you please repeat?
okay. Actually, we have to prove that in the second law the first law is already contained. That means you have to prove the first law, Newton's first law of motion, from the second law. So that's what we have proved here. So Newton's second law of motion, it is what? F is equals to ma. So force is if the external force is 0, it will be equals to what? Ma. Now m, mass of the body, will not be equals to 0, but acceleration will be 0. That's why this will be ma, the product will be 0. This shows that the body is not having any acceleration. So if the body is not having any acceleration, that means if the body is at rest, it will remain at rest, and if the body is in motion, it will continue remain in the uniform motion. Okay. Now,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
third law contained in the second law. Now we will prove that the third law is also the part of the second law. It is already contained in it. Consider an isolated system. That means only two forces are acting over here. There is no external force which is acting on this particular system. Consider an isolated system of two bodies A and B. Okay. Let them collide. So ये दो bodies है, इनको हमने we are going to allow them to collide. Let t be the time of collision. Now we know that according to the Newton's second law क्या बोलता है? Rate of change of momentum is equals to force. Okay, so change in momentum divided by time is nothing but force. Now we will calculate the change in momentum of the each body that has been happened in a time interval of t during which the collision occurred. So here the calculation is there. Change in momentum is what? Force into time. I can write, right? Change in momentum divided by time is force. So I can write what? Change in momentum is equals to force into time. Or if I keep it like this, you will get the same result, no problem. देखो हमने क्या कैलकुलेट किया? चेंज इन मोमेंटम ऑफ द सेकेंड बॉडी. अभी सेकेंड बॉडी के ऊपर कौन सा फोर्स लग रहा है? F21 बार. कितने टाइम के लिए लग रहा है? t टाइम के लिए. So the change in momentum of the second body will be what? F21 into t. Change in momentum of the first body कितना होगा? इस पहली बॉडी पे कौन सा फोर्स लग रहा है? F12. Okay, so F12 into t. So this is the change in momentum of the respective body. तो total change in momentum कितना होगा? इनका दोनों का addition. Okay. अभी now there is no external force. This system is isolated, so no external force is acting on these two bodies. So because of that, what is going to happen? Total change in the momentum of the body will be 0. That means whatever we have calculated over here, that will become equals to 0. So you can get what? F21 bar will be equals to minus of F12 bar. So this is what? Newton's third law of motion. So we have started with the second law and we have proved the third law. This shows that Newton's third law is already contained in the Newton's second law of motion. आपको समझ में आया ये?
So how did the whole, like the sum of the two become 0?
Total change in the momentum is 0, na? Total change in the momentum of the system is 0. Law of conservation of momentum, that we will prove later on.
Okay.
According,
Okay.
this statement is according to the law of conservation of momentum. Okay.
Okay.
So total momentum of the system, total change in the momentum of the system is always equals to 0. There will not be any change.
Okay.
ठीक है. अभी देखो यही आपका क्वेश्चन था, राइट? नाउ वी विल प्रूव दिस लॉ. प्रिंसिपल ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ लीनियर मोमेंटम स्टेट्स दैट, क्या स्टेट करते हैं ये? In an isolated system, that means the system in which no external force is applied, the total linear momentum of the interacting particles is always conserved. ओके ये हमें प्रूव करना है. यानी सपोज ये बॉडी है, पहली बॉडी, ये दूसरी बॉडी, इसका मोमेंटम है p1, इसका मोमेंटम है p2. ओके, f1 is the force applied by the first body on the second body, f2 is the force applied by the second body on the first body. तो हमें क्या प्रूव करना है कि भाई इनिशियली दोनों का मोमेंटम जितना रहेगा, समेशन ऑफ द मोमेंटम ऑफ द टू बॉडीज, आफ्टर कोलिजन आल्सो समेशन उतना ही रहेगा. ये हमें प्रूव करना है. फॉर दैट वी विल यूज द न्यूटन सेकेंड लॉ ऑफ मोशन. तो लेट अस कंसीडर द बॉडी 1. अगर आपने पहली बॉडी कंसीडर की तो चेंज इन मोमेंटम ऑफ द बॉडी 1 कितना हुआ है? फाइनल मोमेंटम माइनस इनिशियल मोमेंटम. सो दैट इज व्हाट? F2t according to the Newton's second law, na? So t is the time of collision, you can say. You know that the change in momentum is what? Force into time, because rate of change of momentum is force. Now whatever the force acting on the first body is F2. So if you multiply it with the time, you will get what? Change in the momentum of the first body. Similarly, you have to calculate what? Change in the momentum of the second body. Change in the momentum is final momentum after collision minus initial momentum, which will be equals to the force acting on the second body into time. So these two equations we have got according to the Newton's second law. Now if you apply the Newton's third law, Newton's third law क्या बोलता है? F1t is equals to minus, यानी F1 is equals to minus of F2. That's it. If you multiply with the time, you will get like this. So you can compare these three equations. If you compare these three equations, we can state that P1 dash minus P1 is equals to P2 dash minus P2. So what do you mean by that? That means if you adjust these values, P1 plus P2 will becomes equals to what? P1 dash plus P2 dash. So whatever the total momentum of the two bodies before the collision becomes equal to the total momentum of the two bodies after the collision. So if I say like that, the change in momentum will be what? 0 ना? Change in momentum कितना हुआ है system में? 0 हुआ है. That means what? The total linear momentum of the interacting particles in an isolated system always remains constant. आपको ये समझ में आ गया? अरे आप बोलो, मुझे समझ में नहीं आएगा, आपको समझ?
Yes, sir.
ओके. अगर डाउट हो तो मुझे पूछो, ठीक है? तो ये तो हमने ऑलरेडी कवर कर दिया है कि न्यूटन सेकेंड लॉ ऑफ मोशन, F is equals to ma. What do you mean by impulse? Anybody?
Force
Whenever,
into time.
sorry, force into time, right? Whenever the force is applied for a very short interval of time on the body, then that particular force is called as an impulsive force. Okay, so उसका definition क्या है? It is the measure of the total effect of the force that takes place on a body. Okay, impulse is given by force into time. It is denoted by the symbol J or imp, that means impulse, IMP. Okay, and is given by J is equals to Ft. And you know that according to the Newton's second law, change in momentum क्या होता है? Ft होता है. So you can say that impulse is nothing but the change in momentum. So SI unit of impulse क्या आएगा? Newton second. ठीक है? Friction किसको बोलते हैं? The friction actually comes into the play when one body actually moves. That means rolls
Sir,
or
can you give an example of impulse?
धोनी जब 6 मारता है ना, that is the perfect example of impulse. Dhoni, when Dhoni hits 6, the impact of the ball on the bat will happen in fraction of second, right?
Yes, sir.
And the ball goes out of the stadium. So that is the perfect example. Okay. So friction actually comes into the play when one body actually moves. जब एक बॉडी दूसरे बॉडी के ऊपर एक्चुअली मूव हो रहा है और टेंड्स टू मूव, ऐसा कंडीशन है, देन वी कैन से दैट देयर इज अ फ्रिक्शन. अभी कौन मुझे एक्सप्लेन करेगा ओरिजिन ऑफ फ्रिक्शन? एनीबॉडी? कि ये फ्रिक्शन का ओरिजिन क्या हो सकता है? बोलो. ओरिजिन ऑफ फ्रिक्शन क्या होगा? Why the friction is there? Because of the surface irregularities?
Irregularities in the surface.
Okay, surface irregularity. One answer. Then anybody?
Sir, irregularity.
Sorry, irregularity. Irregularity. Okay, but this answer is wrong.
When two bodies move against each other.
But what is the origin? Origin. Why the friction comes? Hello?
Opposite forces.
Sorry, opposite क्या बोले आप?
Opposite forces.
No, opposite forces will be there. That means applied force will be in this direction. The frictional force will come in this direction. That will be there. Okay, that will be always there. But what is the origin? Why? That means you mean to say that if the forces are, the applied forces are in the same direction, there will not be the friction. See, there will be the friction if there is a relative motion. If there is a relative motion between the two bodies, that means two bodies are moving, okay, one above the other in the same direction with a different speed, then there will be the relative motion, correct? Then there will be the friction. If they are moving with the same speed, then there will not be the friction. हाँ, देखो, surface, हाँ, बोलो.
So when the body actually pushes against the irregularities, that's the origin, no?
No, not that. See, surface irregularity is the old theory. Earlier people were thinking like that because of the surface irregularity, यानी ये surface है ऐसा. Then another surface, there will be the interlocking, right? Interlocking, and because of this interlocking there will be the friction. So that was the old theory. Later they came and they have said that at that time they have made the two conclusion that this friction, it depends on the area of the contact. Okay, जितना ज्यादा area of contact रहेगा उतना ज्यादा friction रहेगा, ऐसा था. Okay, this was the assumption, the conclusion that they have drawn from this theory, surface irregularity. But later they have concluded that the friction, it depends on the intermolecular force of attraction. So according to this theory, the friction is independent of the area of the contact. Friction is what? Independent of the area of contact. Friction is independent of area of contact. और जितना ज्यादा स्मूथ रहेगा सरफेस उतना ज्यादा फ्रिक्शन रहेगा. मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ, जितना ज्यादा स्मूथ रहेगा, स्मूथनेस जितना ज्यादा रहेगा उतना ज्यादा एरिया ऑफ कांटेक्ट यानी उतना ज्यादा फ्रिक्शन रहेगा. इस बात को समझो. ओके, उतना ज्यादा फोर्स ऑफ इंटरेक्शन बिटवीन द टू मॉलिक्यूल्स विल बी ग्रेटर एंड देयर विल बी द फ्रिक्शन. ओके, आपको समझ में आया? ये थ्योरी ओल्ड है. Okay, this theory has been discarded. Everybody? अरे आपको कुछ डाउट है क्या इसमें?
No, sir.
डाउट है?
No, sir.
No. Okay. देखो, internal friction, it is defined as the friction between any two layers of the fluid. Fluid बोले तो any liquid or any substance that can flow. Okay, so any substance that can flow can be a fluid. So friction between any two layers of the fluid. So the friction that is because of the relative motion between any two layers of the fluid, there will be the friction. Okay, so that is known as an internal friction. उसको क्या बोलेंगे अपन? Internal friction. Now there is external friction that we are going to study. It arises when two bodies in contact with each other tries to move, or if there is an actual relative motion between the two bodies. ये क्या है? External friction कब होता है? It arises when two bodies are actually moving. That means one body is actually moving on to the another body, or there the body is tending to move on the other body, tending to move or willing to move. Okay. Now this external friction is further classified into 3 different types depending upon the amount of the applied force. जितना आप applied force लगा रहे हो उतना frictional force वेरी होगा, और उसके जरिए हमने क्या किया है, एक्सटर्नल फोर्स को 3 डिफरेंट कैटेगरीज में डिवाइड कर दिया है. पहला है स्टैटिक फ्रिक्शन. देखो कोई भी अगर बड़ा बॉडी है, ओके, उसको आप धक्का मारने जाओगे, शुरुआत में आप कम फोर्स लगाओगे, यू आर अप्लाइंग अ वेरी लेस फोर्स, द बॉडी विल नॉट मूव. ओके, द बॉडी विल नॉट मूव. जब आप इसको ज्यादा से ज्यादा फोर्स लगाओगे और तो एक फोर्स यानी एक सर्टेन फोर्स रीच होएगा, उसको बोलते हैं लिमिटिंग. यानी जब आप इसको फोर्स लगा रहे हो तो दैट पर्टिकुलर फोर्स, इफ द बॉडी इज नॉट मूविंग देन दैट पर्टिकुलर फ्रिक्शन इज कंसिडर्ड टू बी द स्टैटिक फ्रिक्शन. अभी स्टैटिक फ्रिक्शन में क्या होता है, बॉडी इज टेंडिंग टू मूव बट इट इज नॉट एक्चुअली मूविंग. ओके, सो उसमें क्या होता है कि जैसे अप्लाइड फोर्स आप बढ़ाते हैं फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स भी बढ़ जाता है. जैसे आप अप्लाइड फोर्स बढ़ाते हैं फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स भी बढ़ जाता है. Now this will happen till the limiting force of friction reaches. Now what do you mean by limiting friction? Here the body will be just at the verge of moving onto the another body. यानी इससे ये पॉइंट से आगे आपने अप्लाइड फोर्स का वैल्यू बढ़ा दिया तो बॉडी will start moving onto the another body, and that particular friction will be what kinetic.
I didn't understand from static friction. I didn't understand.
देखो एक बेस है, एक सरफेस है, उसके ऊपर एक बड़ा सा बॉडी है. The body is not moving, there is a friction. आप सोचोगे अरे ये तो बॉडी मूव नहीं हो रही है, कैसे there will be the friction? Yes, there is the friction.
Sir, you were not audible. Like your voice is breaking. Can you tell
And there's a lot of disturbance in the background as well.
Yes, sir.
Now is it audible? Hello? एक मिनट. Are you able to hear my sound?
Not
Yes, sir,
clearly,
but-
especially, and there's a lot of disturbance in the background.
Yes, sir.
Now also. Nothing is there in the background. Close that. Okay, shall we start?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
See, suppose this body is present on the surface of this body is very huge body. Okay, if you apply the force on this body, you are applying a very less force. If you apply the less force, the body at the start it will not move. Okay, It tends to move, but it is not actually moving. Actually, it is not moving. So applied force का direction ये है, तो इसके opposite direction में friction होता है. उस friction को बोलते हैं हम static friction. See, static friction is a variable. Remember this thing. Static friction is a variable. Is a variable. You can see that with the, if you vary the applied force, the static friction also gets varied. It will start from 0, it will reach to the maximum value. Now this is the maximum value. This particular value of the friction is known as a limiting force of friction. Okay. Now why this particular value of the frictional force is called as the limiting force of friction? Because if you increase the applied force magnitude, that means if you increase the applied force beyond this value, what is going to happen? There will be the start of the kinetic friction. Now at the start of the kinetic friction, what is going to happen? There will be the decrease in the frictional force to some extent, and then the frictional force will remain constant even though you are increasing the applied force. Are you getting this point? You can see this frictional.
Sir,
Sorry.
I didn't understand the part from limiting friction again.
Okay.
What is limiting friction?
So we have reached up to the limiting friction, right? Now the body is at the verge of moving on to the another body. That means if you apply the force greater than this particular value, suppose this force is 10 Newton, okay? यहाँ पे 20 Newton है, यहाँ पे 30 है. So 30 is the applied force, okay? Now if you increase the applied force up to 31 Newton, what is going to happen? The applied force is greater na than the, now the corresponding value of limiting friction कुछ भी रह सकते हैं. Suppose ये 50 Newton है यहाँ पे, okay? If you increase the applied force, ये value अगर आप increase करोगे, applied force का value 30 से greater कोई भी value चलेगा, okay? If you exceed it, if you make the value of this applied force greater than 30, then what is going to happen? Initially there will be the decrease in the force of friction, okay? Because there is a sudden jerk, and then the force of friction will remain constant. It will remain constant even there is an increase in the applied force. आपको समझ में आ रहा है ये?
Yes, sir, but how will the frictional force decrease?
Yes, there will be the decrease because the time of contact it will decrease ना. बॉडी अभी स्लाइड हो रही है, समझ में आई बात? ये बॉडी स्लाइड होगी तो जो टाइम ऑफ कांटेक्ट होगा सरफेस के बीच में, उसको टाइम कितना मिलेगा? कम मिलेगा ना. समझ में आ रहा है क्या?
सर कम मिलेगा कंपेयर टू
द दिस सिचुएशन, स्टैटिक सिचुएशन. स्टैटिक में तो ये पूरा देर इधर ही है ना खड़ा, पूरा देर इसी सरफेस पे ही तो खड़ा है वो. तो देयर विल बी द लॉट ऑफ फ्रिक्शन, ओके? तो पहले तो नहीं होगा फ्रिक्शन, जब ये यानी अप्लाइड फोर्स जब लगाओगे तभी फ्रिक्शन का वैल्यू बढ़ेगा, ओके? वो मैक्सिमम कब होएगा? जब ये अबाउट एट द वर्ज ऑफ मूविंग होगा, तब ये जो स्टैटिक फ्रिक्शन लिमिट स्टैटिक फ्रिक्शन का वैल्यू है वो मैक्सिमम हो जाएगा. दैट पर्टिकुलर वैल्यू इज लिमिटिंग फोर्स ऑफ फ्रिक्शन, ओके? नाउ इफ यू इंक्रीज द फोर्स, इंक्रीज द अप्लाइड फोर्स beyond this particular value, there will be the sudden decrease in the force of friction, and then there will be the constant force of friction with the increase in the applied force. आपको समझ में आया है? अरे आ रहा है कि नहीं? अरे आपको समझ में आया है कि नहीं?
यस सर.
Yes, sir.
देखो, जब अप्लाइड फोर्स अपन बढ़ाते हैं तो क्या होता है? आपको यहाँ से ये ग्राफ से क्या पता चल रहा है रे? जब मैं अप्लाइड फोर्स बढ़ा रहा हूँ तो फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स बढ़ रहा है, सही है ना? तो दिस पर्टिकुलर एरिया इज अ स्टैटिक फ्रिक्शन. इस एरिया में बॉडी मूव नहीं हो रही है, द बॉडी इज नॉट मूविंग. This particular point,
Okay, sir.
the body is at the verge of moving, and in this region the body is actually moving. मुझे एक बात बताओ, आप अपने हाथ ऐसे ये करते हो, क्या बोलते हो उसको, क्या बोलते हैं यार, यानी यानी कोई भी बॉडी आप अगर दूसरी बॉडी के सरफेस पे मूव हो रही है तो फोर्स ऑफ फ्रिक्शन क्या हो जाएगा, कम हो जाएगा इनिशियली, but that force of friction will decrease to that will be less than the limiting force of friction. I'm not saying that it will become zero like in case you can get in case of a static friction before the application of the force. I'm not saying like that. मैं ऐसा नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि बॉडी मोशन में जाएगा तो डायरेक्टली जीरो हो जाएगा, थोड़ा सा कम होता है वो, ओके, अदरवाइज बॉडी मूव ही नहीं होएगा, द बॉडी विल नॉट मूव, ओके, समझ में आ रही बात?
यस सर।
Okay. Now there are some laws of friction हम देखेंगे. The magnitude of the force of limiting friction between any two bodies in contact is directly proportional to the normal reaction. अभी देखो यहाँ पे ये बॉडी है, ये सरफेस है, ठीक है, ये यहाँ पे मैंने इस डायरेक्शन में अप्लाइड फोर्स लगाया, तो फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स का डायरेक्शन कौन सा होगा, अपोजिट टू दैट, along the surface of the contact. ये ध्यान में रखो, it will be opposite to the force of to the direction of the applied force along the surface of the contact. सही है? Now ये body एक surface पे है, इसका weight will act in the vertically downward direction. This will be the normal reaction which is produced inside this body. Okay? समझ में आ रहा है ये? Now what does this law states? The magnitude of the force of limiting friction between any two bodies in contact is directly proportional to the normal reaction. That means force of friction is directly proportional to the normal reaction. If you remove this proportionality sign, there will be the mu. Mu is known as a coefficient of friction. Okay, coefficient of friction between the two bodies in contact. R is what? Normal reaction. Abhi, the direction of the force of limiting friction is always opposite to the direction in which the body is at the verge of moving. देखो body इधर जा रहा है तो force of friction का direction इधर होगा. अगर मैं applied force इस direction में लगाता तो body का frictional force का direction कैसे होता, इस direction में, ठीक है? The force of limiting friction is independent of the area of contact. ये ध्यान में रखो. ये कहां से आया, जब वो थ्योरी डिस्कार्ड हो गई, थ्योरी ऑफ इरेगुलरिटीज ऑफ द सरफेस और थ्योरी ऑफ मॉलिक्यूलर इंटरैक्शन वो प्रूव हो गई, देन फ्रॉम दैट दे हैव कंक्लूडेड दैट इट इज इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफ द एरिया ऑफ द कॉन्टैक्ट. ठीक है, इट डिपेंड्स अपॉन द नेचर ऑफ द मटेरियल ऑफ द सर्फेसेस इन कॉन्टैक्ट एंड देयर स्टेट ऑफ पॉलिश. देखो ये दो चीजों पे डिपेंड है, नेचर ऑफ द मटेरियल, बिकॉज द मॉलिक्यूलर फोर्स ऑफ इंटरैक्शन विल वेरी फ्रॉम मटेरियल टू मटेरियल. मटेरियल से मटेरियल में वो क्या करेगा, वेरी करेगा ना, फोर्स ऑफ इंटरैक्शन. एंड इफ यू मेक द सरफेस स्मूथ देन देयर विल बी द ज्यादा मॉलिक्यूल्स कांटेक्ट में आ जाएंगे. ओके, एंड देयर विल बी द इंक्रीज और इन्हांसमेंट इन द मॉलिक्यूलर फोर्स ऑफ अट्रैक्शन. दिस विल इंक्रीज व्हाट, फोर्स, हे फ्रिक्शन. ओके, अभी देखो कोएफिशिएंट ऑफ फ्रिक्शन इज डिफाइंड एज द रेशियो ऑफ द फ्रिक्शनल फोर्स टू द नॉर्मल रिएक्शन. कोएफिशिएंट ऑफ फ्रिक्शन इज डिफाइंड एज द रेशियो. अभी हमने देखा ना F इज इक्वल टू म्यू आर, तो म्यू का वैल्यू क्या आएगा, F/R आएगा. ठीक है, यही बोला है. नाउ वी विल डिफाइन द एंगल ऑफ फ्रिक्शन. See, there is a body. On that body, we have applied the force in this direction. There will be the frictional force, which will occur in the direction opposite to that of the applied force direction. The weight of the body is acting vertically downward, so that is what mg. And normal reaction produced inside the body is R. Now, the resultant of this R and F is what? The resultant of this R and F is this. Okay, this is. I think I have not given the name, so this is the resultant. Okay, इधर लिखा है resultant of F and R is this vector. Now the angle between this resultant and normal reaction, this particular angle is known as what? Angle of friction. देखो इस एंगल को क्या बोलेंगे हम?